Welcome, and thank you for joining for another whiskey review. Today, we're going to take a look at the 2019 Longrow 21-year, 46% ABV. Dustin, you were able to pick up the 19 and 20. We took a look at the 20 a while back, but this is the first time Longrow, this 2019, first time Longrow released a 21-year-old, so it's rare. You were able to pick it up. What can you tell us about the Cask Maturations?
It's a great question, Mike, and I got lazy to do the research before we did this.
Nice.
It is bourbon and sherry. Same with the 2020. I can't remember which one has a higher concentration of sherry. Again, I purchased this probably 2 years ago, Mike. It was 2020 when we reviewed the other one, right?
Yeah, it was a while back. It seems like a while back.
Yeah, so it's been a while. I got those both pretty close together. I paid a little bit of a premium for this one because I didn't jump on it and buy it right when it came out. But by today's standards, I got this for a steal.
Yeah, we need to at some point bring the 2020 compare them. So we did that a while back, a few years back. We have a Springbank playlist.
Yeah.
And I put a Longrow's one in there. So even that's getting kind of long. So maybe I need to break up a Longrow and Springbank both.
Yeah, you're not watching that entire Springbank line that we've done in one sitting. But you know what, guys? The analytics tell us you guys love Springbank reviews. So we're going to keep doing them.
We like to drink the whiskey.
Also, we love the whiskey.
Excellent whiskey.
That's probably why they like them is, it's more fun if we're enjoying ourselves.
Buddy, I tell you what, when I hear the word Longrow, I think I'm going to get drugged behind a car in a gravel parking lot.
And it smells like it too.
Yeah. Tires and asphalt.
Yeah, well, I'm not gonna sugarcoat anything on this one. Like,
Dirty.
the 21s have not been my favorite Longrows of late, and I really have actually enjoyed the 18s more than these. And I think right away though, if you like those old 18s, you like those old 14, you like the old 10, those dirty, old school, heavily reused but still very obvious, like old school sherry from Springbank, and you like that just dirty Longrow malt, this nose is straight that.
That's such a dirty, funky sherry.
Yeah, I mean, it's almost starting to hint on a little bit of like even like a salty bouillon cube kind of thing, which I complained about on like the local barley where it was just intense. This is much more subtle. It's in the background.
Well, it's 21 years old. It mellowed out to some degree, but
Yeah.
the potency is still there.
And they didn't go. I mean, again, this is not all first fill or something crazy.
No, probably not, but... And it's at 46, so, I mean, that's probably a little bit of relief to some degree. I can't imagine it's a cask strength.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely got some funk.
It's fun, but I'll tell you what, just a little bit of brown sugar sweetness in the background.
Yeah, and it's got a little bit of like a baking powder.
Dry, very dry powder.
And there's a little bit of like a cereal grain here, maybe like Cheerios.
Yeah, there's a
little bit
malty
of sweetness to it.
Nah, sweetness, man. There's not a ton of it. I gotta tell you.
Well, I'm talking Cheerio sweetness. I mean, Cheerios are something I think of as sweet, but when you smell them, they've got a little bit of sweetness to them.
Yeah, honey Cheerios, sure.
No, not even honey Cheerios, the regular ones. It's that subtle, it's that dry, it's that barely sweet.
Yeah, I picked up none of that.
Like I said, barely sweet.
I'm trying to get there. There's almost something like a bit of a blood orange in the background, a bit of a citrusy, a little bit of acidic blood orange.
Yeah, I mean, it's citrus without getting any of the sweetness that you would expect with it.
Just acidity. And just, not in an unpleasant way, I mean, just a twinge of it back there. Just something to break it up.
Yeah,
just
there is a whisper of chocolate. I mean, it is the most subtle thing, and I'm picking it up every third time I nose it.
Dark chocolate, yeah.
It's just a whisper there, kind of in with that dirty... Almost thinking like...
There's almost like a bread cookie in this.
I'm thinking like almost like a brandy or something, like a brandy reduction sauce.
It's almost like a no-bake cookie before you like adding... Well, no. It's almost like a sugar cookie when you bake them and then you don't put the sugar on them yet. Like when they first come out, if you like let one dry and don't put sugar on it.
The more I nose it, the more I am getting a little more sweetness here.
That and asphalt.
There is definitely a little bit of that asphalt note, yeah. I want to say sulfur, but I'm not even sure if it's sulfur.
Yeah, I wouldn't say it's that.
It's something.
It's that level
realm.
of pungency, though.
Yeah. I remember, I think it was Rob from Whiskey in the Six. He made the reference to like a barbecue sauce being kind of the peaty note on some of the Springbank tins.
Okay.
And I could almost get like a vinegar-based, almost too vinegary barbecue sauce just sort of in here, maybe.
I don't even think it's even as sophisticated as barbecue. This is like barbecue sauce on a Five Guys hamburger.
They haven't finished making it, you know?
Do you think they get that from the Longrows because it's only 2 times distilled? Do you think that lack of distillation compared to Hazelburn and Springbank is what kind of gives it that? I mean, funky's one thing. Springbank's funky.
Yeah.
This is dirty. I mean, what I'll say is dirty. Grimy, I should say. Earthy.
Yeah, I've always gone back to, though, when I get really... I think the sherry casks are playing a big part, and I think they pick different casks for Longrow. They know this cask is going to work in Longrow. I think that's a factor, too. I think they're both playing a role.
It's so unique, though.
Yeah.
Because it's... The funkiness is just almost... You gotta like it. You know what I'm saying? This would turn off a lot of people, for sure. Like a Lefroy would, or just something just incredibly aggressive. But on top of that, it's at a good ABV. And you're right, if it's not sulfur, there's some other extremely pungent note to it. But the fact that it's been 21 years old, I think it made an extremely aggressive whiskey early. Interesting and palatable. Yep. This is still an extremely aggressive whiskey.
Absolutely.
What are you picking up?
So the palate has these 2 distinct things going on. It has this peaty, smoky, I actually think some kind of like a hot, spicy barbecue almost is kind of what I'm getting here. With this really nice play of sugar cookies, baked bread, interesting, clean, not bold, but clean malts. Low to medium low viscosity. It's definitely not a oily mouthfeel.
It's 46 on the palate, for sure.
Yeah, but it's low even for 46. I mean, I think the Springbank 25 and the 21s are always more viscous.
So initially, you're right on the palate. Initially, you can pick a nice chocolates. And I get there's some like bread sweetness, like some type of baking note to it. I would say more cookie than dough. Then when you swallow, man, it gets dirty and gets dirty fast. And it stays dirty. What this reminds me of? I was 7 years old. Story time. I was 7 years old. Dad was picking me up from roller skating when I was a kid, right? On his motorcycle. Looked cool at first. And his motorcycle stalled out. It was an old Harley. And he said, you got to push on the back. Like, I got to get it rolling so I can pop the clutch, blah, blah, blah. But I'm like 7 or 8 years old, right? So he didn't tell me, let go. This is essentially where we're going with this. I'll never forget in front of my classmates. I start pushing a little bit, thing kicks in, and it goes. And it had a little backstop with, like a sissy bar or something. So like someone could ride on the back of it. And I was holding on to that, and it kicked, and it went, right? And so I come off my feet. But then, like, scared as a kid, like I didn't let it go. Ooh. And only for a second. Then I hit the tire, and then I let go. And that feeling in my mouth, sliding on the asphalt, takes me back to being 7 or 8 years old, picking myself up off that parking lot, thinking to myself, this is going to go terrible Monday at school. What a great memory. But this is an extremely aggressive asphalt finish on the palate is what I'm trying to get to. Unforgiving asphalt finish on the palate. Or on the finish. Woo! It may come off thin on the palate, but that finish feels full.
That's why I was kind of using like the spicy barbecue kind of reference, because like it bites
full
and it comes at you. But like up front, it's like this gentle, soft, like am I even drinking whiskey on like the front of the tongue? And
very much 46%.
I mean, again, I think 46ers a lot of times drink heavier than this. This is very. You could tell me 43, and I'd believe you.
On the palate, for sure. Not on the nose or on the finish.
Up front, yeah. On the finish, yeah. I'm with you there.
Well, I think I put a couple drops of water in here.
I'm definitely getting more rubber asphalt notes, less sherry. There's still the acid sweetness has come out a little bit, but it's way back there.
He got super rubbery. I have a tire customer walking through his warehouse. It's like that tire smell almost. Again, it's like asphalt, dirt, tire.
I'm picking up a little more wood, and it's kind of making me think. You know how 21-year-old whiskey, it's old whiskey, but it's not quite old whiskey.
Yeah, it's the beginning of old whiskey.
Yeah. This reminds me very much of like a 21-year-old whiskey where they definitely aren't. There's no whiskey older than 21 in here is my guess. I mean, it's possible, but I would be skeptical because it really just gives me that it just hit 21 years old. We're ready to put it out, but it's not there yet.
Yeah, there is more of a biting wood note to it with water as well.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
It's just giving me that, like, it's not.
I don't know if I'd put water in it. It's already 46.1. And even though it's kind of aggressive, the only thing I think it brought up with water is tire and biting oak.
I enjoy the oak, actually. That's kind of a plus note here for me.
I think you could have got to that with time, though. If you
You're
let it
right.
sit
We
for 20 or
could have
30
let it-
minutes, you know what I mean?
I agree.
For the sake of reviews, we don't do that. But if you let it more time to sit, you would have got there without bringing out the good years. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. What are these, Eagle F1s?
Yeah.
Radials? Whatever.
Where are we going with this?
I don't know. All right. What are you picking up with a little bit of water? Anything different?
It integrated better. A little less of a kick on the asphalt piece. A little more sweetness. They're kind of coming together at the same time now. That's what water generally does. I'd probably not drink this with water because I kind of like that kick at the end.
Yeah, I got borderline thin on the palate with the water. When you swallow, I mean, again, the chocolate was a little more coating and nice chocolate.
More chocolate, you're right. Yeah.
Then here in the finish, here I am, 7 years old, being drugged across the parking lot.
I don't think that's as intense on the finish now.
It's not as intense, but it's the same thing.
Yeah, it's a little more subtle, but yeah, it's
Yeah, you're starting to go numb.
yeah,
You're a few seconds into the drag.
exactly.
Anyway, where are you as far as the whiskey score on this one, buddy?
So I gave the 2020 a 90, which was a overscore for that one. I should have been lower, and I'm going to correct it here. And this is going to come in at an 87 for me. Mm-hmm. I think that's a good score for where it is in terms of enjoyment, complexity. It's a little lacking in complexity. It's a little lacking in depth. It's interesting. It's something I enjoy drinking, but there's not a lot of wow here.
Yeah, I'm going to go 86. I'm going to go a point lower than that. It's good old whiskey, but here's this would be something I'd put on my distraction bar.
Oh, of course, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's an interesting whiskey. I wouldn't mind going back to it from time to time, but it's like, say, the Longrow 14 Sherry
Yeah.
that we had. You got to really be in the mood to drink this. Like, I don't want to pick this out more than a couple times a year to even, or to share it with someone. That's about it.
Honestly, this is a whiskey I only go back to when somebody brings it up, and I'll go back and I'll pour a little taste. And it gets brought up a lot because these bottles are going for like $550 here in the States.
It has all of the credentials to be a really good whiskey. 21 years old, 46% ABV. I mean, I've had Longrows younger, much better.
Yes.
This, maybe this, they don't make 21 very often. Maybe that's for a reason.
Could be, yeah.
Or maybe it's just they have an opportunity to
Now,
really let it shine.
yeah, and I mean, that's the problem is, again, if you're here in the States, these are expensive. If you're in the UK, I think you can still actually, you can't get this bottle easily. You can't get this, but when they come out, I don't know if Longrow's quite gone the path of Springbank where it's impossible. Because I know I got the 2019 and 2020, both from the UK, for very, very fair prices.
It may be the same distillery, but the three versions of Springbank are extremely different whiskeys.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, I've always found Longrow offensive to some degree. Kind of an Edward Hour type thing where it's, I can appreciate some notes, but in general, I find it to be more than, I don't like that flavor profile as a preferred profile.
Yeah.
But, Hazelburn to me is completely uninteresting. At least the ones that I've had. Unless it was a, sherry cask that was fancier first fill or something like that.
They haven't put out a lot of Hazelburn in general, which is the other
That's
problem.
true, too. I guess I've never been, really wowed by one. Where, I've had some Longrows that were great whiskeys.
I mean, I really want to get a hold of a Hazelburn 21-year-old. I know they put out a very limited run with that.
Maybe.
Love to try that.
Seems a little boring to me.
I think it actually had some, I think it was cask strength.
Oh, well, we'll see.
I don't know. They've done some single barrels that are out there. I've got an 11-year, which was a little lacking. They needed some more exciting cask, but I think Hazelburn's got potential. I think it's the newest of them, so I think they just haven't had a chance yet. And Longrow, I think they're getting better with the 18. I think they're getting more interesting, more creative.
Well, they always tinker.
Yeah. I've got a Chardonnay finished Longrow single cask that is absolute fire that we got to get to at some point.
For sure.
So I think Longrow's malt can work. These sherry casks with Longrow's malt, I like it. I don't love it, and I don't want to pay big bucks for it.
Yeah, I don't want to pay for it at all.
I figured.
For sure. But anyway, interesting whiskey. Appreciate you bringing it. Yep. Dustin's an 87, more an 86. So a bit of a disappointment for how much it costs and what it takes to get
I will say,
I
paid $240 for these. So that's not so bad. But again, I don't know if that price is happening again.
For sure. It's fine for one, not fine for multiple.
Oh, yeah, I definitely wouldn't buy another.
There's where we're at. Anyway, if you guys had a chance to try this one, let us know. Again, we also did the 2020. If you guys want us to compare those, we certainly can. We have the bottles, so let us know what you guys think in the comment section. Until next time, Dustin, we wish the folks
happy drinking.
We'll see you next time.